Your boy Zack made this post right here, basically saying that the Critical Drinker doesn't watch the movies that he reviews. He posted that Nosferatu, which Critical Drinker had reviewed up to that point, hadn't been released in Great Britain yet. And he basically says, sure, it's possible he watched it on a pirate site, but your boy Zack says that what he probably did is he just regurgitated the consensus that, Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers and all these other guys already had. I haven't really watched a whole lot of the Critical Drinker's content. I've only seen a little bit of it. But if this allegation was true, it would be extremely damning. The whole idea behind, channels like Critical Drinker or Nerdrotic or, Geeks and Gamers, Eric July, is they're supposed to be giving their opinions about certain media and how they feel about it. They'd basically be intellectually defrauding their viewers. Just imagine if a food critic was pretending he went to restaurants but never actually ate the food. He still gave reviews anyway. What would happen to him? Now, some of you guys might be wondering, well, JJ, why are you talking about Critical Drinker possibly not watching movies if you don't really have a super strong opinion one way or the other? And this is actually the interesting part. While I can't say for sure whether or not the Critical Drinker is that way, it actually turns out that Eric July is. Eric July actually admitted on Twitter once that he wasn't consuming mainstream media anymore, despite the fact he was still commenting, on video games, comic books, and movies. He stopped doing that after the release of Black Widow. Let's take a quick look at Eric July after he was confronted for not consuming new media and basically being media illiterate while trying to position himself as a critic.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
So I have another question for you. So, again on Twitter, because your tweets are really fascinating. You talk about, comic books and media on your channel all the time, but apparently you haven't watched or read any of them since Black Widow. So can I ask you how you engage with them?
What do you engage with who?
What the topics you talk so on your channel you talk about movies and comic books a lot, but you aren't watching them. What's the deal? Why should we listen to you?
Well, I don't have to explain to you because you're not like a supporter of mine or by any means. So I don't know who you're referring to. I will answer by saying you don't have to listen to me.
Well, what if I wanted to be a fan? But I'm like, wait, he doesn't watch this stuff. Why would I listen to him?
Correct.
So why would I
business.
listen to you?
You don't have to. You don't have to listen to me. I'm not trying to convince you.
Okay, but why would you announce it then? That you essentially you're announcing that your opinion's worthless on this stuff. So why would you announce that?
No, that's not what I'm announcing.
Okay, what are you announcing?
Because I am pointing out the fact that I've gone a long. All right, easy. It's not difficult at all. I've gone a long period of time. The point of that tweet that you're referencing, I've gone a long period of time, that 2 years or however long that had been, and what used to be part of my entertainment, as a thing that I would do specifically for entertainment, I don't do that anymore. As far as, let's say, watching a comic book based film or television show, which is almost exclusively what I watched during that period of time, up until, let's say, that time. Now, my form of entertainment is coming from different things, and it's all good. And I mentioned some of those, being video games and working on my business. That is what I'm getting out of, let's say, when I want to be entertained. That's more of what I'm doing.
Okay,
that was the point of the tweet.
So why do you talk about the other media then?
As far as what?
So if Eric July was cheating and not actually watching the things he was talking about, is it really too crazy to suggest that maybe Critical Drinker would be doing it too? From the outside looking in, seeing your boy Zack talk about Critical Drinker actually seems a little weird to me, mostly just as I said, because I haven't really followed his reviews, and I don't really know much about him. So it's almost like watching this homeless man ranting and raving. And it seems so crazy and weird. But at the same time, I think that a lot of people who are maybe insulated and they aren't aware of, certain things about Eric July or, Nerdrotic or, even Melanie Mack, and they're fans of these people, and then they hear somebody else, criticizing them, they might think that, there's no basis for it. But then actually, once you do a little bit of investigation, the person who looked like this, deranged vagabond actually turned out to be, in essence, a Nostradamus that could see things that other people can't. I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment then to see if, Critical Drinker really is faking a review or not. Yaboi Zack is dead certain that Critical Drinker faked a review for Craven, which is, a Spider-Man spinoff. And I can't really say if that's true or not because I haven't seen Craven and I also haven't seen Critical Drinker's review. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go watch Craven and then I'll make my own review talking about what I liked, what I didn't like, what artistically was good and what was, not good. And then after I do that, I'm going to watch Critical Drinker's review. And then we'll be able to see very quickly if, it's just a differing opinion or if he missed some very important details. And that will indicate whether or not the review is fake. Now, a fake review doesn't mean that he didn't watch the movie necessarily. It could also mean that maybe he was trying to make a bit of a misleading review just because he knew that, hating something would get him more clicks and views. We'll find out quickly. So that's my little experiment I'm going to do. Anyway, I don't really have too much of an opinion one way or the other. Obviously I am a fan of Yaboi Zack's, and he says that, the Critical Drinker is a horrible reviewer. But there are other people that I highly respect who have a much differing opinion on that. And one of those people is Chuck Dixon, who is one of the co-creators of Bane, but also has made, many other contributions to the Bat family, and also has worked on many other projects which I've enjoyed.
We all know there are plenty of video channels that do nothing but, bitch about pop culture. They attack this thing or that thing, and they do it over and over and over again because there's a ready audience who wants to have their own beliefs confirmed or reaffirmed. This movie really sucked, and I'm going to go on and on and on about it. And then, everybody else shows up to go, yeah, that really sucked, and here's why I think it sucked. And you sort of build up a thing. I'm leaving Critical Drinker out of this because you're probably thinking, oh, he's talking about Critical Drinker. Now, Critical Drinker will eviscerate a bad movie, and the environment for bad movies that is so target rich. Who could resist? And of course, his thing is to take the movie apart. But the way that Critical Drinker does take the movie apart is so often instructive. I watch his videos as a writer because he has such a keen eye for why a story failed, why a movie failed, why this doesn't work. Just the interior at the core of this concept, it's awful. And why did they ever make it? And he examines it and he does like an autopsy.
He says that the Critical Drinker's reviews are excellent and that he's actually giving a very accurate writing autopsy for films. So I'm honestly open to that being true as well. I'm going to go investigate that, but I'm kind of curious to see what you have to say in the comments below. What do you think? Is a Critical Drinker an excellent reviewer? Does he give good writing autopsies, kind of like Chuck Dixon is saying? Or does he maybe fake his reviews, kind of like what Yaboi Zack is alleging? It could also maybe be a little bit of a mix between the two things. Anyway, let me know in the comments, and I'm curious to see what you have to say, and I'll let you know what I think soon after I do this little experiment. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Also remember, if you don't like and subscribe, then...
You are a hoe-ass